Hello and welcome. Wait. Okay, there we go. Hello and welcome back to the Druidic Stormcloud channel, where I'll be playing Final Fantasy XIV once more. I have had a couple of issues where it decided to disconnect from the server, and I hope that isn't something that continues on during gameplay. But, well, if it does, I'll figure something out. Anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right on in after a few chatting points. One, sometime soon, I will be starting to stream just a little bit longer, or, well, a few longer streams to test the waters on a better time to stream. Do not worry though, VODs will be saved as long as it isn't a game that, like The Forest, and I come across something that makes me worry that it'll get my channel banned. And they will be uploaded to YouTube the next day. As for anything else, not too much is going on my side of things, so streams should be at a steady schedule. And I hope you're looking forward to that as much as I am. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, I do not know what's going on here. Give me a moment. This is Yeah, I have no idea what that was about. I hadn't changed anything, and it decided it wanted to change things up on its own. Anyway, we are now back. delay, but nothing major. Nymphilia has her plate full at the moment. I am most eager to address the Ascian threat. However, we dare not neglect our other pressing concerns. We both know full well that St. Shiva will not be the last primal we face, and our relationship with Ishgard is tenuous at best. To think that the resolution of the primal threat was once the sole priority of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. Some days I wonder if it was wise for us to take on so many other responsibilities. Lest you forget, Incident, the Scions need not shoulder the burden alone. Were not the Crystal Braves established for this very reason? True, we are presented with a multitude of problems. However, we have all the resources we need to address them in turn. Kiara, in particular, is ever a steady hand, who I trust will continue to support the Braves. To what do we owe the pleasure? Have there been further developments regarding the situation in Ul'dah? As expected, the Immortal Flames have been struggling to cope with the revelation that one of their highest-ranking officers was a Garlean agent. Suffice it to say, Teleji Eldeleji and his Monetarists ilk have wasted no time in attempting to turn the situation to their advantage. Coupled with the ongoing unrest, the Flames are finding themselves hard-pressed. Plainly, General Raban needs our help, and I will direct the Crystal Braves to offer what support they can. Hello? If I am to stay abreast of the latest developments and issue effective orders, however, I cannot afford to waste time traveling back and forth. And so, for the foreseeable future, I think it would be best if I were to remain in Ul'dah, unless you have an objection. None whatsoever. We have matters here well in hand. Monbrea's research is proceeding as planned. So she tells me, though I'm not familiar with the details. Urigar is poring over his tomes at the Waking Sands, and others are contributing in their own ways. Alas, the key problem, how to form an ethereal blade at will, remains unsolved. Nevertheless, it is only a matter of time. Kiara, while we focus on that task, mayhap you could assist Alphinaud and his braves with theirs. It would do much to restore faith in the Immortal Flames if the Warrior of Light was seen working on their behalf. Never forget that your esteemed status allows you to act in ways that those more tightly bound to organizations and nations cannot. However, as ever, I implore you to do so. Not that your response was ever in doubt, but I humbly thank you once more for aiding our cause. Now then, there are preparations I must attend to before my departure. such as receiving Riel's latest report. He has proven to be quite skilled at gathering information others wish to keep secret. Hence why I placed him under my direct command and ordered him to investigate the Ul'Dan riots. When you are finished here, join me outside. Depending on what he has to say, I may soon have a favor to ask. If there are any developments on our front, I shall inform you at once in the usual fashion. Okay. Pleasure as always, Kiara. You'll be escorting the commander to Ul'Dah, I take it? Hello? Actually, I had another task in mind for her. If you would be so kind as to repeat your report on her behalf, or for her benefit. Right then. Me and mine have been making inquiries into the source of weapons, what found their way to the refugees' hands way back. So happens we caught wind of something promising. A rather large purchase of sharp and pointy things by a black marketeer holed up near Highbridge. I doubt that this man would have secured such a quantity of weapons if he did not already have clients waiting. Clients that, for whatever reason, would prefer that this transaction remain secret. Brings to mind that merchant what caught Nero while talking to Kiara, don't it? Generous fellow he was, doling out swords and spears to the downtrodden and disgruntled. Which isn't to say that these clients have the same mischief in mind, but if you want to be sure, you might be prudent to investigate before they collect their goods. Savvy? Hello, Marco. My dog is deciding now is a good time to get attention. Do you want under the cord? He is very active in disrupting stream today. I don't know what's with him. But he's not doing anything destructive or anything he doesn't usually do. It's just, usually he likes to nap during stream sometimes. Okay. Seizing the weapons before they fall into the wrong hands would be for the best. However, if we strike at the appointed hour, we might capture the black marketeer as well as his clients. What do you say, Kiara? That sounds like an excellent plan, Alphinaud. Then it's settled. Rendezvous with Captain Ilberd at High Top and intervene when the exchange takes place. Now then, if you would excuse me, I must leave for Ul'Dah. I expect good tidings. I mean, I worry this could be a trap. And our previous pet is right there. So let's go ahead and randomize the in. We have the Chocobo Chick. You are not going outside right now, Marco. You're not. Buddy. That's right, no. Marco. Keeps playing jump rope with the microphone cable, and it worries me. So comfy there. I am going to take a moment to see what it is he's getting all excited about. I will be right back. No, no, no. Sorry about that. My dog saw something. I can't see what it was he saw. Ah, Kiara. My scouts have been keeping a close eye on the black market here, and it would seem that his guests have arrived. It would also seem that he has hired more than a few men to stand guard, common thugs of no consequence. They nevertheless pose a threat. Marco, what are you doing? What are you doing? No, 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 Marco! Marco, come on! Come on out, out! This will be a moment. My dog had an accident, and I can't even blame him because he was telling me that he needed out. dispatched you either. But how can you ever have any loyal, able-bodied friends? Having found one in you is only natural that he would come to rely on you without hesitation. Sorry, I'm trying to get back into the stream mindset and not the, oh no, my dog is having an accident mindset. Now then, we should make for the burning wall without delay and secure those weapons. The first event will ensure that the plans do not escape. With me, Kiara. Nice by the one man, but there are sure to be others. I have a plan. When you approach the sentry and create a distraction, my men will slip past and catch the black marketeer unawares. Once you've disposed of the thugs, wait for us outside the tunnel entrance. Any questions? Then let's be off. Good luck, my friend. You as well. Who goes there? The adventurer? Damn fool. You should have never come here. I don't understand. What's this all about? Ugh! As you can see, this is a fine mess. When I tried to restrain him, he drew a hidden blade and lashed out. But before I could disarm him, one of my subordinates panicked, and this is the result. How foolish of me to underestimate the bastard and to bring an inexperienced recruit. Olivia will be most disappointed. Damn it all! Golden opportunity wasted. As for the clients, though we know not how, they slipped out, or they slipped past our perimeter. At present, the first is currently tracking a party of Dusklight sellswords. We suspect maybe them. Would that we could have enlisted the aid of the Immortal Flames, or the Brass Blades, but unless we're here to aid them, they're in no position to aid us. Well, at the very least, we have secured the weapons. Yet, even that accomplishment is lacking, for the information we received indicated to be a massive shipment, and this is anything but. Okay. I'm gonna go check on my dog real quick. I will be right back. Okay, he has something, and I will be right back. Okay, I am back again. I am sorry about that. My dog is still outside. It seems like he still has something of an upset stomach. As huskies are wont to do. Thank you for the follow, Sigrivex. Sorry that I wasn't at the stream when you did. I will join the first in their hunt for the dusk white cell swords. If the gods are good, we will catch them before they escape into the Black Shroud. In the meantime, I ask that you deliver these weapons to my stead. Trusting to the third, Yuyuhase will take care of the rest. Third's Yuyuhase. You're the one for Red Mage. The Warrior of Light, a reliable friend of the Cursed Graves. My deepest thanks for your assistance in Portus. Now, what brings you to us this day? list of weapons from a certain black marketeer, courtesy of some Hilbert. You say? Understood. Once we've cataloged the contents, we'll have them delivered to the Hall of Flames. This cannot be everything, can it? We will state here with confidence there will be a clear quantity of weapons. Great falsehood. Philipio is unfamiliar with the ways of hotel merchants. Ever strive to present themselves as greater than they are. We should be thankful that this information is not completely erroneous, and that we managed to achieve anything of worth at all. It's still something worth celebrating, isn't it, Lieutenant? Besides, we've got more important things to worry about. Like fighting those Garleans up north. Anything to say about it. Our orders are to stand watch and not seek glory in battle. If you have no further need of us, then I shall take my unit to this cerulean processing plant. Time for the fourth to earn their keep, eh? Fight well. And for the freedom of all. Excellent work as always, my friend. Rest assured that the immortal plate can hear your contribution until we meet again. Kiara, a word if you please. A word if it please you. Not here. Look for me at the Sapphire Avenue Exchange. No need for whistling this time. Don't you worry. I cannot tell you enough how much it pleases me that they reused the minor characters you met throughout the main storyline to form the Crystal Braves. It is just perfection. Why did I think it was in a different area? Thanks for indulging the request. A few places better than a market for privacy, I find. All the hustle and bustle of commerce means most conversations go unnoticed. I'll get to the point. At the Burning Wall, when you and the captain interrupted the exchange, what happened? Tell me everything. Leave no detail out. That's not quite how the first told it. These Duskwights, they're chasing. The latest word is that we lost the trail. But you never saw him yourself? Not before the fighting started, and not after? Something ain't right. I don't know what it is, but I can feel it in me bones. I'm not daft enough to be misled by some merchants' drunken boasts. Our information was reliable, goddammit. I know the purchase of those weapons. I know he purchased those weapons. As if I've never deciphered moneylender's books, or had to follow a transaction back to its source. Did plenty of that back when the Braves were getting started, believe me. The commander wanted assurances that we weren't taking gil from the wrong source of benefactors. course, these days the money flows like water, and the first and third get the shiniest new toys. Forgive me, friend. I have a lot on my mind these days, and I appreciate you lending an ear like them. Best get back to it. This is starting to really get... Oh boy. Kiara, can you hear me? This is Tataru. Your presence is urgently requested at the Rising Stones. Please, come and see me as soon as you're available. Go ahead and see what's going on. Thank you for coming so quickly, Kiara. We've a guest here from Ishgard who wishes to speak with you. A most, determined lady by all indications. Our guest is waiting with the incident in the Solar at present. Let's not keep them waiting any longer, shall we? Okay. Lucia.
We have a guest from Ishgard who wishes to speak with you. I believe the two of you have met.
We have. I had hoped to speak with Commander Leveilleur as well, but I cannot afford to wait any longer. The Lord Commander sent me hither to request your aid in a matter of grave import.
You see now why I had Tataru summon you.
Now that we're all assembled, perhaps you would be good enough to elaborate on the nature of the matter which brought you to us.
The Observatorium's astrologians have sounded the alarm. Last night, the Dragonstar burned with an intensity not seen in 15 summers. Not since the Dravanians engaged the Empire in the Battle of Silvertear Skies.
The northern sky doth burn full bright upon the Wormlord's call. The red behemoth beckoneth, and flame consumeth all.
The old Curthan rhyme, aye. The brightening of the Dragonstar is said to accompany the roar of a great worm. The astrologians believe that it was Midgardsormr himself who cried out on this occasion.
After an absence of centuries, the King of Kings did return to lead his kind against the might of Garlemald, only to fall in his duel with the Agrius, proud flagship of the Garlean fleet. Devoid of life, his corpse remaineth entwined about the Magitech monstrosity even unto this day.
Ariange has the right of it. Whatever this alteration in the Dragonstar portends, the Great Worm has shown no sign of life. Tataru, have the Domans reported aught out of the ordinary?
I am worried.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if Midgardsormr had roared, wouldn't we have heard it here in Revenant's Toll?
Roar is but a figure of speech. Dravanians can communicate in ways beyond our ken. It is for this very reason that we are forced to look for signs in the heavens. We cannot say with any confidence that a great worm roared at all, much less that it was Midgardsormr. Only by directly examining the Keeper of the Lake can we be certain. However, it will take too long to gain the Holy See's approval to dispatch the Temple Knights. Therefore, Sir Emric would entrust this task to you. Do you accept?
Yeah, this has some
We
bad
knew
signs
you would
to
not
it.
disappoint us. Now, if you would excuse me, I must return and assist the Lord Commander. We have precious little time to prepare.
To prepare for what, pray tell?
When a great worm roars, his brethren cannot choose but answer. We prepare for battle.
Forgive me if I state aught which you already know, but I would ensure that you understand the nature of your destination. As Uringer stated, what we now call the Keeper of the Lake is the wreckage of the Angrius, former flagship of the Imperial fleet, and the corpse of the worm responsible for its destruction. 15 years ago, as the next step in his campaign to subjugate Eorzea, Gaius von Balsar attempted to seize control of Mordona. So massive was his force that all thought his victory a foregone conclusion. But an unlikely ally came to Eorzea's aid that day, Midgardsormr. Legendary Garden of Silvertear Falls burst forth from beneath the waters of the lake and led a host of dragons against the Garlean airships overhead. In what would later become known as the Battle of Silvertear Skies, the Great Worm felled countless airships before engaging the Agrius. In the ensuing struggle, the flagship's Cerulean engines failed, and it tumbled into the lake below. Yet this victory came at great cost, for the explosion which followed claimed the life of the great worm as well. One moment. Sorry about that, I had phlegm. That same explosion transformed Silvertear Falls into the desolate wasteland it is today, draining the lake of its water and crystallizing ether for malms around. Yet a remnant of the lake remains, and at its center, a constant reminder of that fateful day long ago. In accordance with Sir Amaric's wishes, our Doman allies have been standing watch over the Keeper of the Lake. It would be wise to speak with them before investigating the wreckage yourself. Be careful, my friend. We know not what dangers await you within. Now then, let us not neglect our own tasks. There is much to be done, and precious little time to do it. Alright, I need to check on my dog again. I will be right back. Okay. He seems to be doing fine, but he does not want to come in. Okay. I enjoy that there are little side stories going on at the same time as the main event. Machinus. I was about to send word to Reverend Sol about the Garleans. Of late, I've seen small airships, likely from Cassium Sentry, come and go from the Keeper of the Lake, though I cannot see for certain at this distance. I believe they may be salvaging some form of, or something from the wreckage. The Cassium supply lines have been cut for some time, and I'd wager they're desperately in need of spare parts and other equipment. So it's true then. The Ishgardians honestly fear that the worm might rise again. Well, from here it seems rather unlikely. But it's assurances they want. But if it's assurances they want, you've no choice but to inspect the corpse in its entirety. Easier said than done, given the creatures which inhabit the wreckage, and aforementioned Garleans who won't take kindly to your presence. They're sure to fire upon an airship, so I'd advise a more stealthy approach. Take this boat and a few of your comrades to the base of the Agrius, then climb to the top. That's the only viable approach, I'd say. Ooh, dungeon. With a party of NPCs. cards. First boss in the dungeon. on, I don't even have to worry about my
treadeth now upon my bones, and waketh me from slumber sweet. Thou hast forgotten the face of thy lord. Remember, mortal, and fear me.
Boy. that is another dungeon. The dragon waking up from a long sleep.
By her gifts hast thou earned a moment's reprieve. Speak, mortal, and I shall listen. Guided by a star. My people have heard the song. Ishgard shall burn. Sons must answer for their father's misdeeds. We do not forget. We do not forgive. 7 children did I sire. One now singeth of retribution. I rise to join in the chorus. Thou art powerless to silence us, mortal. Yet thou shalt not live to labor in vain. Thy reprieve is at an end. Trickery is thy shield. This frail, ignoble creature is not gifted, but chosen. Hearken to me, Hydaelyn. I remember, and I consent. Fear not, mortal. I shall not harm thee.
Pardon me, but what is it you're planning? That is... Oh, the crystals! That's not good.
Mayhap thou thinkest me an oath breaker. Thou art mistaken. If thou comest to harm, it shall be by another's hand, not mine. I did but strip thee of thy mistress's feeble blessing. Thou didst profit much by her grace, but no more. covenant binds me to thee. I shall watch, listen, and wait. Fight and struggle, if it be thy will. Man hath ever coveted that which lieth beyond his grasp. I drink of her body, and thence doth mine own find new life. When it hath grown whole, the loyal and penitent shall rejoice. The dragon song heraldeth our beginning and an end.
Do we get a new minion? You may summon Midgard Zormer by selecting the corresponding entry within your minion guide. Oh, it is. I also have this one. Independent. I was beginning to fear the worst. Those explosions I saw. But you shouldn't waste time talking to me with me. Alphanut left a message stating that you were to return to the Rising Stones at once. Praise the 12 that you are hale and whole. I came as soon as Menphilia informed me of Sir Amaric's request. You have completed your investigation of the Keeper of the Lake, I take it. Then I would hear your report. It's not good. You conversed with Midgard Zormer. I swear, were anyone else to make such a claim, I would regard it with considerable skepticism. Are we to understand that the Worm Lord did not perish, and has in sooth lain dormant these past 15 years? Less a resurrection and more a rejuvenation, for he who dwelleth in eternity, years passing as moments. Though his words were ambiguous at times, one statement left little room for interpretation. My people have heard the song, Ishgard shall burn. Clearly, an attack is imminent. We must share this information with Sir Emmerich immediately. However, we dare not divulge your conversation with Midgard Zormer in its entirety. To even acknowledge that you heard the voice of a Dravian is a grave but necessary risk. Lest we forget, men have been executed as heretics for declaring as much. For your own protection and for the sake of our tremendous relations, or our tenuous relations with Ishgard, the truth cannot leave this room. As for how we shall present our revelations to Sir Emmerich's emissary, you may leave that to me. Pray, remain here until now, or for now. Is there something you're not telling us, Kiara? You seem different somehow. It's almost as if you were missing something important. 12 for Fend. Midgard Zormer stripped you of the blessings of light? Are you all right? How do you feel? I see. It is a relief to hear that you are otherwise unharmed. It beggars belief that any being could possess the power to deprive you of her blessings. Midgard Zormer made mention of a covenant, did he not? One of the ancient myths regarding Silvertear Falls states that when the waters came into existence, so too did the Great Worm. Altheic and Maria, brother Time and sister Fate, decreed that Midgard Zormer ever watch over the source from which all water and magic was said to flow. I wonder, what if this was the covenant of which he spoke, and 'twas not the gods with whom he treated, but with Hydaelyn herself? Well, if he is watching over you as he claimed, mayhap you will have an opportunity to ask. Let us keep this matter to ourselves. I do not wish to burden our friends needlessly. Art thou a pawn or master of thy fate? What hast thou wrought by thine own hands, mortal?
My friend, I can scarce believe it. You confronted the Wormlord and lived to tell the tale. I give thanks to Halone for your preservation. It is our sole cause for gladness. Your encounter with the Keeper of the Lake served to confirm our fears. A great worm has roared, and it makes little difference if it was one of the two in Eorzea or any other. The Dravanians are coming.
I am told that Ishgard has magical defenses against Dravanian attack, though I am not privy to their exact nature. Will they be enough to repel a massive force?
Ishgard has weathered countless assaults over centuries. This will be no different. And now that you have confirmed the threat, none can ignore the Lord Commander's calls for the wards to be strengthened. I dare not presume to speak for him, but I expect the Lord Commander would sing your praises. I must away, but we shall meet again soon.
Countless assaults weathered, and this will be no different? Why am I not convinced?
Same here, Alvanad, same here. Ishgardians have warred with the Dravians for centuries, nay, nearly 1,000 years. And all that time, not once have their enemies breached their defenses and entered the city proper. Yet, regardless of how strong these magical wards may be, I nevertheless fear that the Ishgardians are underestimating the gravity of the situation. Though it was not Midgard-Zormr who roared, a call to arms by one of the Firstborn cannot be ignored. Until such a time as they choose to request our aid, however, we can do naught but observe the situation at a distance and pray that our fears are unfounded. Ere I forget, I believe Monbreda has requested a gathering of the Scions. I assume there has been some progress concerning our efforts to combat the Ascians. Pray inform me that our business with the Ishgardians is concluded for the moment. I shall be alone once I have completed my communications with the Crystal Braves. All done with your talk of dragons? Wonderful, because Ascians are next on the menu. Let's head into the Solaire, shall we?
Now that everything's calmed down a bit, relatively speaking I mean, I thought it might be a good time to share our progress on the weapon. I believe we're on the verge of a breakthrough.
Well, don't keep us all in suspense.
Just in case anyone's forgotten, let's start by reviewing what we already know. So, an Ascian is an immortal because its soul doesn't return to the ethereal realm when its host is defeated. Instead, it flees to the place that lies between our world and the Void. Therefore, the first step to permanently defeating an Ascian is preventing its soul from making this journey. And if you recall, when we last gathered here, I had verified that White Auracite has adequate capacity to entrap the beings, albeit only briefly.
Which left the small matter of their extermination.
Yes, Marco, you're not in trouble. I understand the situation now, and I am the one. I am so sorry about that. I'm very sorry about that. I think he did that on purpose, but I'm not sure.
Aye. To unmake an Ascian soul, one must needs smite it with a concentrated burst, or blade, of purest ether. However, we wanted for both the data and the means to forge such a weapon.
Short of experimenting on an actual Ascian, you see, there's no way to gauge how much ether its soul is made of. As such, we don't know what etheric density our blade needs to have in order for it to work.
So we'll just have to make the densest blade we can and hope for the best. Though that would require a lot of ether. Hang on a minute! Why didn't we think of this before? White auracite can hold an absolute heap of ether, can't it?
Please tell me you're joking. God's sakes, Ida. I feel as though I'm reliving the same scene over and over with you. How many times do you need to be told that white auracite cannot store ether for long periods? Being intangible matter, ether is given to dispersion. Only in its crystallized form is it a stable source of energy. I will test you later on this, so see to it you do not forget.
Right, yes. It's all coming back to me.
So our hopes rest on good old crystals again, do they? While they are certainly reliable, they leave something to be desired in the area of portability.
Indeed. I am reminded of the quantity of corrupted crystals required to thwart Leviathan, and the extraordinary lengths to which the Lamentsons went to transport them. What if it should prove that a similar quantity was needed to destroy an Ascian soul? Or still more?
I do not envy the poor Sawdust to lug all of that around, on the off chance that an Ascian appears.
That's the very problem we set out to solve. And I reckon we've found the answer. If it isn't practical to lug around the ether we need, we'll just have to draw upon another source. And the only viable source is the land.
If you mean to tap the Great River of Ether, know that it will entail considerable risk. Meddling with the currents may well induce a surge like to the one which despoiled Mordona.
Give me a bit more credit, will you? Why would we need to tap the river when there are veritable reservoirs jutting out all over the land?
The crystal constructs, the towers, the spires, the spikes.
Aye, I speak of corrupted crystals. It might be that their aspect is out of balance, but a crystal's a crystal. It contains ether, and we can help ourselves to it.
While corrupted crystals are indeed abundant, there is no guarantee that they will be in close proximity at a crucial moment.
But what if we don't need them to be? What if we could tap their power from afar? A malm away, say? If we could do that, we'd have ready access to ether aplenty in almost every corner of Eorzea.
Interesting.
I've yet to put my theories to the proof, but I've got a good feeling about this. If no one has any objections, I'd like to see where this avenue leads.
If you think it worth your while, you have my blessing. But tell us, what are your theories? I, for one, am most eager to understand the process, however vaguely.
Thank you for the follow. From 12 minutes ago. I am sorry that I didn't respond sooner. There has been minor issues with my dog throughout the day. But he seems to be doing better now.
I thought you might say that, but no one wants to listen to boring old theories all day, do they? I know I don't. So with your permission, I'd like to try something a bit more hands-on. I've already built an etheric siphon especially for this purpose, and I've been meaning to try it out. Thing is, the profusion of corrupted crystals in Mordona makes it something of a high-risk testing ground. If anything goes awry with the siphon, it would be better if it didn't happen within spitting distance of quite so much ether. Ideally, I need an isolated specimen. Does anyone know where I can find one?
May I suggest northern Thanalan? There you will find corrupted crystals of middling size, standing a reasonable distance apart. Ideal for your needs, I should have thought. Oh, and if you do elect to visit the place, I should be much obliged if you would assist me in another matter while you are in the area.
Has something happened?
Movement has been observed at Castrum Meridianum. During Operation Archon, the Alliance dealt the stronghold a heavy blow. Its facilities were extensively damaged, and its garrison reduced to a fraction of its former strength. Not long after our forces withdrew, however, their ranks were replenished by reinforcements from Castrum's Sentry. They now seek to rebuild, and to this end they have their sights set upon the ceruleum processing plant. Having lost the Empire's support, the 14th Legion lacks the resources to sustain itself. To them, this is a bid for survival, and they will doubtless fight like desperate men. Though I have dispatched the Crystal Braves, I fear their strength alone may not suffice to stay the Imperial assault. I would request the Scion's aid in the defensive effort.
If I didn't know better, I'd say you were trying to inveigle us into fighting your battle with the promise of shiny crystals.
I mean, it can be taken that way.
Well then, consider me inveigled. I won't lie, the crystals you speak of sound perfect, so the Garleans have to go. Besides, we can't afford to beat about the bush. There's no telling when the Arsians will next appear.
Thine eagerness to hurl thyself into the jaws of danger cometh as little surprise. Exercise due caution, I prithee.
Though you have become a Crystal Brave, you are yet a Scion, Alphino. We could hardly refuse you. Pray, join the Crystal Braves and lend them your support. Thancred and Papalymo shall accompany you.
An interesting combo, that.
Ida and Y'shtola, in the meantime I would have you assist Moonbreeder. Scout out the crystal clusters, that the testing may commence as soon as the Garlean threat has been eliminated.
If it please you, I shall continue mine own experiments on white aurosite.
Thank you, Urianger. Everyone, pray see to your preparations and depart as soon as you are able. Go well, and be safe.
Twould seem that events have once more conspired to rob us of rest and recuperation. Though I would wish otherwise, I must ask that you head straight away to the processing plant. The 4th has already deployed to the area and await the arrival of the Scions. Wilred will brief you on the development situation. Meanwhile, I must rendezvous with Captain Ilbert at our headquarters in Ul'dah. I shall take command of our forces there, and with a lighter heart, knowing that you go to support the front lines. Your duties take you north to Northern Thailand, do they not? Or, your duties take you to Northern Thailand, do they not? We too must say our farewells to the Rising Stones for a time. Flemen travels to Ul'dah and we shall serve as her escort. I have a bad feeling about this. At my daughter's behest, I go to contact certain old acquaintances in the Gilded City. We are beset on all sides by civil unrest and imperial machinations, threatened by primals and troubled by dragons. We need all the allies we can muster. Many of my friends hold positions of power, you see, and it is my hope that they can be convinced to aid the Scion's cause. If past events have taught us anything, then we know that Eorzea must present a united front or we shall fall. How extraordinary that my little Estilia is involved in such far-reaching affairs. I am proud that I might now stand at her side, not only as a mother, but also as a colleague. I have a really bad feeling about this. A colleague with influential connections. But I fear that Ul'dah has become a place of danger, even for one so familiar with her streets. Woe betide the Blackheart that so much as glares at your direction, my lady. I believe I shall be well protected, it seems. Shall we be on our way, then? I have a really bad feeling about this. This is a blind playthrough. I do not look up anything regarding story or anything. It's just... I have a bad feeling about this. A very, very bad feeling about this. Here we go. Look at that. Commander Levier sent word that he would be coming. A veteran of your talents is most welcome. Not that I don't think we can handle the situation without you. I have learned learned a trick or two since that disaster with the Kunomaja. But returning to the task at hand. The Flames reconnaissance scouts had reported Imperial soldiers assembling at Lupin's push, the Bond's push. Such a force is likely interested in only one thing: getting their hands on the resources found here at the processing plant. The Gallians could begin marching on us at any time. Pray, speak with Lieutenant Edelston that we might coordinate our counter-strategy. In the meantime, I will inform the others that you have arrived. No doubt it will be a welcome tidings. Lieutenant Frostborn, my soldiers yet tell tales of your deeds following Operation Archon. Word that we could sit a while and reminisce about old times, but I fear more pressing matters require our attention. The civil draftsmen, you see, have come across several highly suspicious crates within the boundaries of the processing plant. I had my sappers take a closer look, and our worst fears were confirmed. These boxes contain powerful explosive devices of Imperial design, no less. By my order, the Flames stationed here are conducting a thorough sweep in the compound as we speak. Though it troubles me that we were unable to apprehend the Imperial spy behind this, I have faith that our men will be able to neutralize the threat for now. In the meantime, our scouts have been troubling news on the latest movements of the Imperial Army. I would once again ask for your aid. We have been keeping a close eye on the Garlean garrison, and will soon the Imperials have finally begun to mobilize. According to the reconnaissance report that just came in, the squads seen leaving Castium are too few in number to effectively take and hold our position. We will likely mount a swift assault and focus on the acquisition of resources. I have, of course, also shared this report with the Crystal Braves. They've decided to take to the field and to meet this assault head on. I have apprised your fellow Scions of the situation and am heartened to know that they will be joining the effort. Pray, report to the Lieutenant Colony and lend your much welcome strength to the counteroffensive. Glad to have you with us, Kiara. As I'm sure Lieutenant Edelston has explained, the Garleans have deployed a small force from Cassia Midrium. The main column The main column assembles to the north, near Dalaman's Talons. But we've also spied several squads attempting to conceal themselves on the approach to the west. They wish you to rush forth and combat or commit to battle with the main column, leaving the detached force free to raid the plant and pillage supplies. Not much of a strategy, but these are desperate men. Captain Ilberg. Greetings, Scion. I understand Commander bid you and your fellows come lend a hand to the Braves. With such mighty heroes at its disposal, the Fourth should have little trouble contending with aught the Garleans might throw at them. But even you cannot be everywhere at once. The Third was getting restless, holed up in Ul'dah. So I marched them out here to fill any holes in the plant's defenses and add their numbers to counterattack. Reinforcements are welcome. We have enough soldiers now to divide our own forces and safely engage the enemy far beyond the walls. It would be best to avoid staging the battle anywhere near this much simoleum. Let's take this fight to the Garleans. A wise course indeed. I shudder to think of the consequences should any of those storage tanks be exposed to fire. If there are no objections, the Scions shall join the Fourth and give battle to this main column. You're with the Third Thin Warrior of Light. You're with the Third Thin Warrior of Light. Your job will be to intercept these squads hiding out in the west and prevent them from reaching the processing plant. When you're ready to proceed, report to Lieutenant. His scouts should have a rough idea of where the Imperials have concealed themselves by now. That is a nice axe. Why can't I have that for my warrior? Well, maybe I can. Point is, the weapons in this game are exceptionally well thought out. A pleasure to be fighting at your side once more, Scion. Our operations invariably succeed when you're on the ground, and victories are wont to pave the road to greater coin. Now, this detached force we've been sent to eliminate has split into smaller squads, the better to conceal themselves within the terrain hereabouts, I imagine. We'll need to split ourselves up as well to cover more ground and make sure we rout all these would-be raiders. And, seeing as you're an army unto yourself, I've assigned you your own areas to scour clean of enemy soldiers. Aye, this will be a simple search and destroy. We'll rendezvous back here when the task is done. Happy hunting, Scion. So our area to investigate is over there. impresses me. Okay. Seem grim, Silent. I'll take that to mean that between us, more than a few guardians won't be making back to the Cassium. These Imperials, though, they certainly made us earn our pay. I would be a happy man if I never had to tussle with another of those Magitech horrors. It is time we bid this war-torn land farewell. I will contact the Fourth and let Lieutenant Aliang know that, the West is clear now, or is now clear. I'd appreciate if you could do the same when you report to Lieutenant Edelston. Lieutenant Frostborn, what news to the Garleans? The raiding parties are no more than excellent. The Jina engineers will be most relieved to hear that the plant is no longer in any immediate danger. Thank you again for your assistance. Options. Heaven's Eye, Savage Aim, or Savage Might. Go with Heaven's Eye. You must be anxious for a word of your fellows. Lieutenant Alian has reported a sound of victory over the main column. Or a sound victory over the main column, and informs me that the Scions have already turned their attentions to other duties. All but one, that is. The Rodagan lady with the large axe. It would appear she has chosen to remain at the site of the battle. I know not what past keeps her from returning to civilization, but Northern Valen is no place to wander alone, even for a capable sword such as her. I would certainly feel better about things that if you could check on her before we continue on your way. Cluster you're going with.
Hold on, I won't be a second. The beast seemed peckish, so I gave it a taste of my axe. I know. As Urianger never tires of reminding me. An axe ill becometh the hand of a scholar. What can I say? I like axes. To hear my mother tell it, I came into this world holding one. And it's not as if it stopped me picking up a quill, is it? I often think of the man who introduced me to the joys of learning. He's one of the reasons I decided to come to Eorzea. Him and my excruciatingly stiff childhood friend. Considering how unalike we are, it's a wonder we ever got on. The world's a strange old place, isn't it? Aye, that ought to do it. So far, so good. At these concentrations, it shouldn't matter too much if something goes awry. Just enough ether to make it interesting. Did you see that? The way the crystal glowed? The siphon works, I'm happy to say. With a few refinements, it should satisfy our appetite for ether, which just leaves the small matter of forging our blade. I'm not sure how to go about it just yet, but I swear to find a way. I'll put a blade in your hands if it's the last thing I do.
She senses me. A useful talent.
Oh no.
Hanassian, are they onto us?
By your brand, I see you are an Archon of Sharlayan. Keeper of knowledge. Seeker of truth. Meddler.
I don't know what the hell's you're saying, but I don't much like your tone.
Your instincts serve you well. But come, be not unsettled on my account. That lovely brow was not made for frowns. But I waste my breath. Let me direct my words to one who understands them. We meet at last, warrior of light. I am Nabriales. And you have long been a thorn in my side. I suffered the overweening presence of La Habrea that men might host the power of gods, only for you to undo my hard work.
Bugger.
Do settle down. You must concede that I acted in self-defense. But what's this? I do not sense the blessing of light. Oh, dear. Could it be that frail Hydaelyn has forgotten her champion? This I did not foresee. Shorn of light as you are no longer a threat. And better yet, the seal is broken.
What does that mean?
Now is the time to claim the staff. With it in my grasp, I shall rise above them all and take my place at Lord Zodiark's right hand.
What did that bastard want with us? Nabriales, he calls himself. With charm like that, I'll bet he has maidens falling at his feet. Unconscious. But this staff... You say just talking about it had the bastard grinning like a brat on his name day. Must be quite a staff. Oh, gods. He means Tupsimati, Master Louisoix's staff. Minfilia's in danger. We have to get back to the Rising Stones.
Oh no. Okay. Okay. You're here. Master Louis Zuo's staff is kept in the Solnaire, isn't it? Quickly, now. Why is it so empty? The staff is gone.
You two!
Oh, she has it.
So, you were able to divine my intent. What now, warrior of light? Ah, but that name is no longer fitting. You have become decidedly dull, and quite incapable of barring my entry.
What do you mean?
You truly do not know? Then I suppose it is only right that I enlighten you. The blessing of light kept you and your fellow meddlers safe. It was that which prevented my kind from entering your domain. My kind, I say, though it had no power over the likes of Elidibus and La Habrea. Being of this world, they could come and go as they please, while I could only look on.
So, we are confirming multiple worlds.
But I need look no longer. Now that the seal is gone, I mean to act. Unlike the others, I am not given to waiting. I shall take that staff and bring about the next rejoining.
Rejoining? Then it was your doing. The Isle of Val, the scholars, all of it.
You will not harm her!
Oh no!
Moonbreeder!
Why must you insist on forcing my hand? Did you learn nothing from our last meeting? Ah, but I forget. My words fall upon deaf ears.
The staff is but a broken relic, a memorial to the departed. What possible use could you have for it?
What use? You mean to say that all this time you kept the key, never knowing what it was you possessed? The staff Tupsimati, or rather the stone tablet it bears, is host to a great power. Together with the horn, it can be used to draw vast quantities of ether from its bearer's surroundings. How else do you think Louis Soir was able to invoke the power of the 12 without making them an offering of crystals? Summoning requires not only prayer, but a profusion of ether. Even a child knows that.
If I did not know before, you may be certain I do now. But above all, I know that we cannot allow this staff to fall into your hands. I will die before I let you take it.
Insufferable woman. I would happily end your miserable life here and now. Alas, Elidibus would never let me hear the end of it. Very well. If you will not part with the staff, I will take you too.
Oh no.
After them! Quickly! Before the rift closes!
Chrysalis. Okay, now we wait. We're not going to wait for too long, mind you. Average wait time of 14 minutes. Okay. Literally everyone was out. Is that what it was? Okay, let's go ahead and end this here. I'm going to switch the scene over on OBS, so bear with me. I hope you all had a wonderful time. And I hope you enjoyed the stream. There were some interesting plot twists here, and we're leaving it on a cliffhanger as we tried to enter what I'm assuming is another one of the boss raids. All things considered, this is a good game. And I enjoy playing it. And, well, I'm going to spend some time making sure my dog is okay. He seems to be fine, just a bit of an upset stomach. And it seems to have passed. But I hope the rest of you had a very wonderful day, night, evening, whatever you're up to. If you're here on Twitch, make sure to drop a follow. And if you're watching this over on YouTube, make sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe down below. Hit the bell for notifications on both sites. And if you are on YouTube, check out this playlist that, if you enjoyed my stuff, you might enjoy this. Another game of mine playing, and if my stuff's not for you but you stuck around anyway, here's a video YouTube thinks you will like. Bye.